Well, hello there, and welcome to the results video for our pick a card for the week of April 12th through the 18th. You are to select from card group number 1, card group number 2, card group number 3. When you comment your card selection by Monday, April 13th, you are automatically entered to win our April giveaway. So I have some very quick announcements before I go into the opening intuitive message. And the timestamp is down below if you want to skip ahead. But I always suggest that you listen to the opening intuitive message because what I share in that message will help you have a deeper understanding of whichever card group you selected. Before I get into that, though, I do want to let you know that I will be doing a bonus reading in the opening intuitive message. So, again, make sure you listen and tune into that. Very quickly, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm so thankful to everybody who has already subscribed and has liked my videos. Whenever you subscribe and you like these videos, that actually helps my channel. And so that encourages me to continue to do these readings. And so make sure that, if you are enjoying this, that you subscribe to this channel and that you like this particular video as well. Make sure you get on my email list. From now through probably like around the 18th, I have a free worksheet called Astrology and Me, which I'm really excited about because it helps you to know your exact sun sign, you specifically, your sun sign and your specific moon sign, and what that means for you. A lot of times we know what our sun signs are. Not everybody knows what their moon sign is, right? And then much less we know, a lot of people don't know how they're working together to help create who you are. And so if you get on my email list, you will receive the worksheets Astrology and Me absolutely free, which will help you to do that. And so that offer will probably run through this week, and then I will have another offer later. So if you want that, make sure that you get on my email list to get Astrology and Me. Make sure that you watch my video, Everybody's in Aries, including you. Those of you who follow my channel, you know that every time we are in a new zodiac sign, I do a video called Everybody's Fill in the Blank, including you. And so since we're in Aries season, that fill in the blank is Aries. Everybody's in Aries, including you. No matter what your sun sign is, Aries is somewhere in your birth chart, in your natal chart. And so we all need to know what to do and how to function during Aries season in order to, be whole, right? It's not about just doing what's necessary during your birth month, but it's about doing, tapping into all 12 of the energies of the zodiac sign, because that's what builds, all of us up. And so anyway, so Everybody's in Aries, including you, is available to watch. And in that video, I also go through all 12 of the zodiac signs. So let's just say your sun sign Taurus. I tell you what you should be doing during Aries season. If you're a Gemini, what should you be doing during Aries season, and all of that. So that video link is down below. So make sure you watch it. Make sure you get tickets to a free online workshop that I am doing this Friday, April 17th, with licensed therapist Neogela Hendricks Wilson. We are doing the secrets to abundance by incorporating energy medicine and somatic healing techniques. Now, I know that's a big title. That's a lot because we're going to cover a lot in this 2-hour workshop. We did a smaller free version of it last week, just a 30-minute workshop. And so now we're expanding it to 2 hours. We're talking about everything in energy medicine, from using crystals to Arisa Aunt to Reiki to understanding how the role of a genogram. And if you don't know what a genogram is, we'll talk about that in your healing process. The difference between a life coach or a transformational coach, which is what I am, and a licensed clinician, a licensed therapist, which is what Neogela Hendricks Wilson is. And when you need to see a therapist versus when you need to, when just having a coach is acceptable. We will be talking about somatic healing techniques, which is everything dealing with your body, how we embody feelings and emotions and trauma and how that shows up in our lives. And so how can we heal all of that within ourselves. We will be doing experiments on gemstones and crystals so you can see why they actually work, you know. So it's just going to be so awesome, so awesome. So if you are interested in that, if you're a licensed clinician, if you're a coach, or if you're just somebody who wants to incorporate more healing techniques in your life, in your day-to-day life, and increase abundance in your life, and we actually explain exactly what abundance is also, make sure you sign up for that class. We are both, she and I are both very busy, so the fact that you got the both of us to sit down and do a 2-hour workshop together is just, in and of itself, you should be there. So if you're interested, tickets to that intensive session is $45, and the link to get your tickets is down below in the description box. And then lastly, make sure you, well, not lastly, but make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I share tips there that don't always, you know, come over here to YouTube. If you're only watching me on YouTube, you're missing a lot that I share throughout the week. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and the links to my Instagram and Facebook pages are down below as well. Leave a love offering. If these readings are benefiting you in any way, practice the law of reciprocity by leaving a love offering, also known as a donation. You can do that down below in the description box as well. There's a button for Cash App and PayPal, whichever one you choose. And it really doesn't matter how much that donation is. It could be $5 or $500. It doesn't matter. It's really just about you showing your appreciation. So I appreciate you in advance for your donations. Thanks to everybody who has already commented your card selections on Instagram and Facebook. I see those as well as the ones here on YouTube, and I greatly appreciate your participation. So that's it for the announcements. So let's go ahead and get into the opening intuitive message. So as I was preparing for this reading, sometimes I try to do these readings, like I try to film them on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. That gives me time to edit them and, upload without having to rush, so that it's there in time, on Sunday of, the following week. But it doesn't always work out like that. And so today I'm actually filming this video. It is Friday, is Good Friday, right? The Friday before Easter. And those who practice, who follow the Christian religion or any variation of it are probably celebrating today. This is the day where it is believed that, Christ was in the tomb, that he had already been crucified, and, there was a lot of sadness around that, and everything that led up to that. And this was the time where it is believed in that faith where, he was gone for 3 days before he rose on, whatever day Easter actually, your resurrection day actually happened. And I'm speaking like this because it's so much to all of these stories, and it's so much history, and it's so much, not just history, but also, it's just so much that goes into all of these stories that's even beyond what most people know and understand, so just to keep me from rambling, I'm trying to condense it down. But, whether that is your faith or not, the idea of, one dying and being gone for 3 days, and being presumably dead for 3 days, and then, rising up, and even the history. If those of you who got I did a full moon special reading, impromptu reading a few days ago that people were able to pay for and watch. And some of you received the card that's connected to Easter. It was a goddess that's connected to Easter, the springtime, the resurrection. And so even the idea of resurrection and, what happens in the springtime during Aries season. Again, why you got to watch, everybody's in Aries, including you. because this season, Aries season, deals with resurrection. It deals with coming out of the death. It deals with coming out of the dead of winter and coming and springing forth into life, and how should we be springing forth into life? And so, even connecting that to Good Friday and Easter or Resurrection Day, it is believed in Christianity. It's like, okay, well, if Jesus died and rose again, then we all, died and rose again. We all have access to new life, right? We're all reborn, again, which ties into what's happening literally right now with nature during springtime. Nature is being reborn. And so when you are reborn, what happens? You go back to the basics. You go back to the basics. If you watch a child who is just born, right? And excuse me, I'm drinking some coffee. Pause. I hope me swallowing isn't like all loud in the mic, but whatever. You think about a child that's reborn, right? Or that is born. They start from the basics. They can't walk, they can't talk, they can't feed themselves, they can't drive to the grocery store, they can't do anything. Everything that they do or everything that they need has to be provided by someone else. And in the first year, their minds are growing. Scientists have done all these studies on the brain, right, and how rapidly the brain is growing and expanding, and new brain cells, during that first year and the first 2 years of life, because that child is growing and having to learn, and they're absorbing so much information. And whatever occurs, whatever happens in their lives at the very beginning, lays a blueprint for how they could perhaps be for the rest of their lives. So that's why, trauma, when it happens at a very early age, there are people who are adults who are still struggling and suffering because of whatever trauma happened to them when they were 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, because of that imprinting. And again, that's why, in my announcements, I announced the event that I'm doing with licensed therapist, Neotchula Hendricks Wilson. And I highly encourage that you get tickets to that. That link is down below. Because that's one of the things that we will be talking about. When trauma happens at a very young age, the blueprint that it sets, and if you come from a family line of trauma or bad behavior or whatever, the foundation that lays. Now, you can always break free from it. Freedom is always possible, and that's what resurrection talks about, right? That new life, that new birth, starting over, getting back to the basics, being born again, right? So healing is always possible. Renewal is always possible. But when you are in the process of renewing yourself and being healed, what happens? You start from the basics. You can't, I'm remembering even something so simple. I had a recipe for this. It was like chicken and it was like some kind of chicken recipe that it had different ingredients. I remember one of them was like apricot preserves or something. It was like a sweet and sour kind of chicken, right? And when I was first cooking that recipe, this was some years ago. Oh man, I need to bring that one back. I'm thinking about it. But when I was first preparing that recipe, I followed the instructions. Like I looked at the okay, a teaspoon of this, a cup of that, or, and I was detailed, I was making sure I was following the instructions. But after a while, when I thought I knew it, and I started, as we do when you cook, you remix it a little bit anyway, you add your own flavor to it. But I started thinking, like, why doesn't it taste as good as it used to? And when I went back and looked at the recipe, I realized, oh, I forgot to add that. Oh man, that crucial ingredient, I didn't put that in there. How could I forget that? But that's what happens in life. We forget the recipe for success, for happiness, for joy, but we forget, if you've been married for any length of time, right? Sometimes you get into this slump of just married life, and you forget what drew you to that person or what made that person want to be with you. So you get into old habits that, are not attractive anymore. If you worked at a job for a period of time, you can get complacent in your job, and I really feel like we can go on and on with these examples, but I really feel like even what we are experiencing right now globally with this pandemic, and everybody, for the most part, is having to go into solitude and stay at home or quarantine, and even those who are considered essential workers and who are still going out there on the job, it is still, they're having to adjust. Things are not, business as usual. Life is completely different. And I think that part of, not why this is happening, but part of what will make this time period either the best time period for a lot of people or the absolute worst is whether or not we are able to go back to the basics. A lot of us have been saying, oh, I wish I had this time with more time with my family. I wish I didn't have to rush so much. Or I wish, I had time to take care of my health. I wish I had, time to invest in my relationship or start a business or just breathe more, spend more time in meditation. And now you have it, right? So are you using it? This is a time for us to reflect and look at our lives and say, what steps are we overlooking? What, when we're busy, going, there's things that just get overlooked, that get pushed to the back burner. And it's like, well, okay, if it's those basic things, life is not complicated. We make it complicated, but it's those basic things, remembering to love, remembering gratitude, remembering to take care of your body, eating well, getting enough rest, whatever the basics are, drinking enough water, prayer life, meditation, all of those things are the basics, are part of the basics, the basic foundation of life. And when we deviate from those things, the whole house falls, right? And so this week, that's why we are looking at getting back to the basics. What do we need to know, do, and be aware of about in terms of going back to the origin, starting fresh, closing any gaps, that any holes and gaps and vulnerabilities or weaknesses that need to be strengthened, retracing our steps where we have perhaps made missteps that we don't even realize because we have not taken enough time to sit down and be quiet and self-reflect. So the bonus reading, I'm going to do bottom of the deck. And so the bonus reading, wow, okay, this is powerful. A major arcana card, the moon. The moon is the bonus reading. The moon is a card of, wow, okay, so the moon itself represents a lot of things. On its higher end, it represents, our emotional selves, our intuition, our closeness to spirit in a way, our feelings, all of that sort of thing. Even our subconscious minds, what patterns of belief are on our subconscious mind? What are our habitual habits, our habitual beliefs that are really ruling our lives? On this lower level, it can represent our fears and what we're scared of, and and also those subconscious beliefs and behaviors that are running our lives in a negative or less beneficial way. And so when you think about the moon, it comes out at nighttime. It comes out when in the darkness, when you can't see, when things aren't really clear. And that's how, a lot of our lives are, right? That's, we can't really see why we make the decisions we make, why we do what we do, why we make the choices we make. Sometimes we don't even know where our beliefs originated from. We don't even know why we have this sort of fear or this sort of belief or this sort of, why we feel this way about money, or why we feel this way about relationships, or why we feel this way about, what it means to be a man, or what it means to be a woman, or what it, or why do we have these eating habits, or why do we, whatever, right? We don't even know where we inherited much of what we live by from. We don't even know when it was imprinted in us. And so the moon represents that part of us that is hidden. It represents the parts of us that we don't, that is not readily visible, whether good or bad. I can't tell how you feel until you tell me or you show me, right? A lot of people hold their feelings inside, right? Just like the moon. It represents our emotional selves that, is hidden until we allow it to be seen. And so, with that being here on a week where we're talking about returning to the basics, this is a time, then I would say this is a time for many of us to return to why do we believe what we believe? Even if it is a religious belief, why? Why do you hold that faith? Or if even if you know why and you're not practicing the tenets of your faith, why? Why have you deviated? Why have you not done the very basics of your faith? Speaking in terms of faith and religion, sometimes we overcomplicate that. We get so deep and want to know all of this and what this says and what the origin of this text and that and that. And there's nothing wrong with doing that in-depth study, but whatever you believe, I encourage you to do that. But at the same time, if you don't practice the basics of it, what does it matter how much you know? If you don't do the very basics, if you can't, if in your practice you are to pour libation and you haven't poured libation to your ancestors in 4 months, that's the basics. If in your faith you are to love your neighbor, and you can quote all kind of scripture, but you can't love your neighbor, that's the basics. You know what I mean? What is the reason for that? What what things have you deviated from and why? And so the moon is representing, what limiting beliefs, what hidden fears, what behaviors are running and thoughts are running on your subconscious mind that are governing everything that you do. Because what could possibly be blocking you from having success, love, abundance, joy, whatever it is that you're desiring in life, could very well be some hidden thought, some hidden belief, some misstep, some behavior that you're overlooking and not paying attention to. But the solution could be very, very simple. It could be just a matter of facing your fear. It could be a matter of just starting a new habit, of retraining your brain, of getting up every morning and meditating for 10 minutes, or going for a walk for 20 minutes every day and just, chanting a mantra as you walk, as you move your physical body, chanting a mantra, so that's reprogramming your mind. It's removing, any residual fears and limiting beliefs that are running on the subconscious level of your mind. All right. So that is how I would apply the message of the moon card to the overall purpose of this pick a card reading for this week. All right. So that is it for our opening intuitive message. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, April 13th, in order to be entered to win our April giveaway. And then subscribe to this channel and like this video. So that is it. For those of you who selected card group number 1, your reading is up next. Well, hello there and welcome to the pick a card results for card group number 1 for the week of April 12th through the 18th. I will quickly go over the announcements just in case you were one of the ones who skipped ahead. Make sure that you comment your card selection down below by Monday, April 13th if you want to be in the running to win our April giveaway. Every week that you comment on a pick a card reading, your name is entered into the hat an additional time, which increases your chances of winning the monthly giveaway. Let's see what else. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and like this video. When you subscribe and when you like the video, that actually helps my channel, which encourages me to keep doing these readings. So if you do that for me, I will continue to post these pick a card readings. Make sure you get on my email list for the next week or so. I will give you, for those of you who sign up for my email list, you will receive absolutely free my worksheet called Astrology and Me, which helps you to know your exact sun sign and your exact moon sign, how they are working together to create who you are. And so when you sign up on my email list, you will receive the Astrology and Me worksheet absolutely free. Make sure you click down below to watch my video, Everybody's in Aries, including you. We are in Aries season. Everybody has Aries in their birth or natal chart. No matter what your sun sign is right now, We are all learning the lessons from Aries. And so make sure you watch that video. And I also go through all 12 of the zodiac signs to, like if you're a Gemini, which you should be doing during right now during Aries season. If you're a Virgo, which you should be doing right now during Aries season. And so I highly encourage that you watch everybody's in Aries, including you. Get tickets to The Secrets to Abundance by incorporating energy medicine and somatic healing techniques. I am doing this 2-hour online class this Friday, April 17th, with licensed therapist Neajala Hendricks Wilson. And we are going deep into what is energy medicine, crystals, how they use in healing, Arisa Ankh, Reiki, just so much more, removing traumatic experiences from your body. We're going in very, very deep on this 2-hour session. And so if you're interested in that, or you want to know more about that, make sure that you click the link down below to get tickets to The Secrets to Abundance by incorporating energy medicine and somatic healing. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Those links are down below. And leave a love offering, also known as a donation, if these readings are benefiting you. The link to do that is down below. It doesn't matter how small or how big it is. It's just about the law of reciprocity. All right. So that is it. Also, if you skipped ahead, then you missed the bonus reading that I did during the opening intuitive message. So make sure you go back and listen to that. And I have the timestamp down below, so you can actually see exactly what minute the opening intuitive message is, and go back and listen to that. All right. So let's get into it. At the top of your card deck is a hematite stone. Hematite is a very, I don't know about the lighting today, what's going on, but it's a very pretty, shiny silver stone. And this is it in its polished form. If it were a raw, and I do have a raw hematite somewhere, but it won't be as shiny, but it's still just as potent. And it has some weight to it. And all of the stones that I picked here are either about that root chakra, which is about, it was just about, the basics, getting back to the root, the origin of things, or just seeking clarity and guidance. Because this whole week, the purpose of this picker card is about getting back to the basics. What do we almost need to know, do, and be aware of to get back to the basics? Sometimes we overcomplicate life, everything, right? And in doing so, we miss steps, and we don't even know where or how we got off track. And so this time where everybody is shut down, staying at home, quarantined, or whatever, is the time when I feel for a lot of us, how we emerge from this will be based on how well we were able to get back to the basics. All right. And so a hematite stone is really good for that root chakra. The root chakra deals with finding security and being rooted and grounded and, firmly planted and secure and safe. And it's really good for protection. It's really good for getting back to your truest self. Is getting back to, in terms of relationship, getting back to the building blocks of your relationship, business, getting back to the building blocks of your business or your career. What, those things that you learned very early on in your business or your career that you kind of, just forgot about, when, let's just say you're a nurse, right? And whatever you learned in nursing 101 that you have kind of just pushed to the back of your brain, is like, get back to the basics of that. Get back to the root, get back to the origin of everything that you do and why you do it. And so, what I always tell you to do, if you want to know more about this stone, make sure you Google hematite. All right. So this week, how do I want to do this? Yeah, let me do like that. So, you got judgment. Excuse me. I love this for this particular week, for the purpose of this week. Again, what do you need to know, do, and be aware of in terms of getting back to the basics? And judgment is like one of those cards. Judgment in tarot, and it's a major arcana card, which means is letting you know that this could indicate, if you follow instructions, this could indicate a dramatic shift or change or a greater impact in your life. But this card, judgment, is really about calling yourself into judgment. It's not about being judged by others. And it's not about not judging yourself correctly, because sometimes sometimes we judge ourselves by an improper measuring stick, right? Meaning we look at other people and we say, wow, I could be like her, or, or I could do things like him, or, I should be further along in life because look at him and he's the same age as me and I should be this, that, and the other, or, or we put other people down in judging ourselves. Well, at least I'm not as bad as her, or at least, or whatever, right? And so we use other people as our measuring stick by which we judge ourselves, which is improper. And it's like the judgment card is about rightly judging yourself by your own standards. If you have a gift, a talent, a skill, or whatever, and you aren't using it, even if it's the same gift or skill that's of somebody else's, it doesn't, let's just say you and another person are very similar, right? And when they use their gift, they get hugely famous and they make $1 million a year or whatever. And when you use your gift to the same capacity, you make $25,000 a year and nobody really knows you, but you do make an impact within the circle that you function with. Then you shouldn't judge yourself by what somebody else is doing or by their success. You can only judge yourself or view yourself or examine or analyze yourself based on yourself, your own potential, your own work, your own input, So the judgment card oftentimes also appears when you have things about yourself. These could be skills, talents, these just could be whatever, ideas, it just, character traits, whatever, that you put to the side that have been lying dormant within you, that for whatever reason, it could be fear, it could be self-limiting beliefs, it could be somebody told you you would never be anything, or you believe that, whatever. I have to say a lot of different things. You're not the only one who selected card group number one. But the judgment card usually appears when it's like it's time to pull all those things that have been lying dormant within you to the surface. It's time to bring them into resurrection. Make sure you go back and listen to the opening intuitive message, because I actually talked about this idea of resurrection and why, this being Easter Sunday, the day that this is being posted is Easter Sunday or Resurrection Sunday. And my video, everybody's in Aries, including you. With us being in Aries season, no matter what your sun sign is, Aries season represents new life and rebirth, renewal, resurrection, coming out of the dead of winter and coming into the life of spring. And so judgment is all about that. It's all about calling forth what was dead and dormant within you, that you were not pouring life into, or that you just kind of overlooked and pushed to the back, and bringing that to life, bringing new life to it, believing in yourself, pulling all that was dead and dormant, and pouring new life into it and allowing it to come to life. And I kind of talked about that too with the bonus reading. The fear that so many people, oh wow, that's interesting, I didn't even look at this. Okay, so I got this card here, right? This was the bottom of the deck, so I just flipped it over and put it on top so we could see it. And then when I look at what's on the bottom now, is the judgment card again. It's the same card, it's just a different deck. And look at these people on this judgment, in this deck. This might give you a clearer understanding of what I'm saying. These people were dead and they were in their coffins. And this angel is like blowing its trumpet and pulling and calling them back to life. Calling. This is like a divine calling for you to come back to life. Whatever it is that needs to be renewed, and reborn and rejuvenated and brought back to the surface, this is the time for that to occur in your life. Wow, that's very interesting that that card was there. And so your wisdom card that you received, oh, it's peace. Look at that little dove up there, the little olive branch, I guess. You know, the olive branch always represents, like, you know, the saying, when you extend an olive branch to someone, it's like, okay, we may have gone through a time of argument or dissension or separation or whatever, but I'm going to extend this olive branch as a sign that I'm ready to heal, I'm ready to make amends, I'm ready to forgive or be forgiven, you know, or what have you. And so I'm going to read what comes with this card. Peace, freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. It doesn't get any better than this: a quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul's satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful, so enjoy it. The relationship message says, when two people are in true alignment with one another, they have an intimate harmony between them. They are as two perfectly tuned instruments playing together. Sometimes it's impossible to tell who is who. Peace is yours, and it is to be savored. And the prosperity message says, this is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how you create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough, for you are in peaceful harmony with spirit, and it shows in your work. So, wow. So, this is, you know, and I talked about this in the opening intuitive message, that with this time, everybody being in this shutdown, quarantine, whatever, you know, and it for some, it has been very an agitating time, because just being quiet and having to listen to yourself, you know, or having to listen to spirit, God, your ancestors, whatever, you know, however you define that, is challenging, you know, but that's part of getting back to the basics. That's part of finding that peace. That is part of that quietness, you know. You don't need a lot of noise right now. You don't need to be doing a lot. You don't need to be all over the place. You don't even need to be bombarding your mind with too much. This is the time to go within and find what parts of you it is time to be reborn and recalled into judgment. This is the time for you to face yourself and look at yourself and ask yourself, okay, what is it that I need to allow to be reborn within me, you know, and have peace with that. It's so simple. The basics are so simple. Getting back to the basics is so simple. Do not overcomplicate this. Enjoy the peace that is being offered to you, and allow that to be how you are open to allowing yourself to be renewed and healed and revitalized at this time. All right. So that is it for your reading this week, April, what is it, 12th through the 18th. Again, make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday the 13th if you want to be entered to win our April giveaway. Do everything I said at the beginning. All of the links is down below, all of the videos and whatnot. Make sure that you click on those so that you can continue the growth process and the renewal process that you are starting right now. Okay. So until we speak again, as always, I'm wishing you so much peace and love. Thanks for watching. Well, hello there, and welcome to the results for card group number 2. I will quickly go over the announcements just in case you were one of the ones who skipped ahead. Make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, April 13th if you want to be in the running to win our April giveaway. Every week that you do that for each pick a card increases your chances of winning the monthly giveaway. So make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and that you like this video. That helps my channel. It actually helps to boost my channel, which encourages me to continue to do this free aspect of my work. And so if you like what I do here, then make sure you subscribe to my channel, and that every video of mine that you enjoy, make sure that you actually give it a thumbs up. Let's see what else. Make sure that you get on my email list. The offer that I still have available right now, when you get on my email list, absolutely free, you will receive from me a worksheet. It's actually four worksheets, I believe, called Astrology and Me. And the Astrology and Me worksheets help you to look at your exact sun sign, right? So I have a list of all the sun signs. So your exact sun sign and your exact moon sign and how they are working together to create who you are. So many of us know our sun signs, but we don't really know what it means to be a Libra or a Sagittarius or a Capricorn, just the very surface level, right? And many people don't even know what their moon sign is or that they even have a moon sign. And so the Astrology and Me worksheets help you to know how those two things are working together, those two signs in your natal chart are working together to create who you are. And so when you get on my email list, you receive those worksheets absolutely free. Make sure that you watch my video, Everybody's in Aries, including you. That link is down below in the description box. We are in Aries season, excuse me. And no matter what your sun sign is, everybody is in Aries right now. Aries is in everybody's birth chart. And so that video helps you to know how to utilize it, the fiery, energetic, life giving energy of Aries right now, and what you should be doing with that. And in that video, I go through all 12 of the signs. I go through, if you're a Gemini, what should you be doing during Aries season? If you're a Capricorn, what should you be doing right now during Aries season? And so again, make sure you watch that video so that you can know what you should be doing right now. Down below, you will see that tickets are available to a workshop, an online workshop called The Secrets to Abundance by Incorporating Energy Medicine and Somatic Healing Techniques. This is a 2-hour intensive session that I am doing with licensed therapist Neogela Hendricks Wilson this Friday, April 17th. That workshop, we did a smaller 30-minute version of that a week or so ago. And so we are extending it to 2 hours. We're going to go into everything from using gemstones and crystals as a form of energy medicine and doing experiments to show why they actually work. Things from Arisa Ankh to or Reiki, or learning what a genogram is and how to create one and how that helps you to heal, removing energetic blockages from your physical body. So whether you are a licensed clinician or you are just someone who wants to learn what abundance really is and how to increase it in your life by using energy medicine and different alternative healing techniques, I highly suggest that you get in this class. And so the tickets to be able to attend, and again, it's a online workshop, so you can be from anywhere in the world and watch this, but make sure you go down in my description box and purchase your tickets to that class. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook because I share tips throughout the week there that you will miss if you're only following me on YouTube. And then leave a love offering. The link to do that is down below. You can do it via Cash App or PayPal. If these readings are benefiting you in any way, and I don't care if it's just $5 or $500, it doesn't matter. It's about reciprocity. And so if you feel so inclined to leave a love offering, I highly appreciate that. And the link to do that is down below. So this week, let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. This week, we are looking at what we almost need to know, do, and be aware of in order to get back to the basics. Make sure you go and listen to my opening intuitive message. If you skipped ahead, you missed a very powerful message. So rewind this video because what I said in the opening intuitive message will help you to have a deeper understanding here. And I did a bonus reading in that opening intuitive message as well. And I talked extensively about getting back to the basics in that. And so the basics are, whatever it is, the basics of life, the basics of everything, a lot of times in life we start skipping steps. We don't even know where we got off track. We don't know how to get back on track because we don't know where we got off track, and right now during all of this stay at home and quarantine is the time to get back to the basics, the fundamentals. And this carnelian gemstone and all of the stones that I use this week, in some kind of way connect to getting back to the basics. Carnelian is one of those stones that can really connect to the root chakra, as well as some of the other chakras as well. But, in terms of the root chakra is about, your roots, your foundation, your being grounded. Sometimes we like to be, oh, so spiritual and so, in the ethers, right? Or whatever, doing all of this stuff that we think is deep, when really you're a human being in a physical body on this physical planet. So it's some very basic things that we have to do here, how you eat, how you sleep, how you love one another, how you take care of your environment, how, all of these things are basic, and so if you're someone who is like, oh, I'm so deep, I'm so spiritual, I know this, that, and the other, but your basic life is you can't ever get on track, your relationships are out of whack. Carnelian is one of those stones that also has a strong relationship and sexual energy to it as well. You know what I mean? And even with that, even with that, I'm feeling that even some of your sex lives, right, might not be, those of you who selected this card group, some of you, not all of you, but even your sex life might not be as strong or as vibrant, or some of you might even be suffering from diseases or disorders of your reproductive system, you know, or blockages in your uterus, or blockages, in your prostate, if you're a man, like whatever, just like, see, that's basics, sometimes people pull the carnelian stone and they just look at, how it can add passion and heat to a physical relationship. But, we don't think about, the parts of our physical body that engage in lovemaking and sexual healing, if you will, you know what I mean? And so if there's disorders there, or imbalance there, or trauma there, then it can make for those experiences to not be very pleasurable. So we have to get back to the basics in those matters. Again, I highly encourage that you get tickets to the class that I'm doing this week with Nia, because we are talking about somatic healing. Somatic deals with the body. That's real basic, right? Real basic. And so I feel like I've said a lot. I hope that is feeding your soul right now, everything that I said. Again, go back and listen to the opening intuitive message, because I go in deep on that there. But as always, if you want to know more about carnelian, make sure that you do what I always say you to do, which is Google carnelian. So, speaking about getting back to the basics, only got 2 cards here. Don't have a lot going on. Why? Because I didn't want it to be overcomplicated. And all of this that I'm seeing right here makes perfect sense as to why I said what I said with this stone. Carnelian is also a stone of protection. Historically, it was like used by warriors. They would wear it when they were going into battle. And seeing this 10 of swords, and seeing that it was coupled with chaos and conflict, lets me know that some of you have been in some kind of battle. That could be physical, it could be something with your relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family member, whatever. The 10 of Swords is a card that often appears when there's some sort of betrayal. Look at that. It almost looks like when somebody this sarcophagus here, I believe that's what it's called, is face up. But usually in a lot of decks, the 10 swords are in the person's back. It's like being stabbed in the back. It's like that sense of betrayal, of, something coming seemingly out of nowhere that kind of just knocks you off your game. And with it being a swords card, the swords represent the mind, mental energy, or just information, anything that deals with the mind. Like you could have found out about something, or learned about something, or discovered something that really just kind of like felt like betrayal to you, or felt hurtful to you in some kind of way. But the good thing about it, though, is the 10 of swords being a 10, meaning it's a fresh start, and again, we're talking about getting back to the basics. Sometimes we live in an illusion for so long about a certain area of our life, or there's certain things that we ignore, like, okay, I'll get to that later, I'll get to that later, you know, and you ignore it long enough to where something happens where you cannot ignore it any longer, right? Let's, for example, it could be a health matter. It could be like you known for a year, oh, I need to see a doctor about this, or I need to go to a doctor, I need to get this checked out, I need to, X, Y, and Z, right? And you never do it, and then boom, something happens that just knocks you down, right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, what happened? Well, what happened was you didn't get back to the basics. The basics was take care of your body, you know. It could be a relationship matter. It could be your family matter that you knew was there and you ignored it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to face it. Okay, well then eventually it will come back and it will look like this. Painful, right? But the thing about it is that when that happens, and whatever that means for you, you're not the only one who selected card group number 2. So you have to make this message apply to you if it does, if it resonates with you. But when this moment happens in our lives, that is the wake up call to say, wow, okay, this card is like, it can't get any worse than this. So there's only up from here, it's only going up from here, which is the good thing. If there's only going up from here, if you, do what's necessary at this time, if you get back to the basics, if you allow yourself time to heal and reflect, or have those conversations that need to be had, or to amend your behavior, or to get back on track with your health, or whatever it is, whatever it is, if you're willing to do it now that you know it needs to be done, if you're willing to do it, it can't get any worse than whatever it is right now. With this card being coupled by chaos and conflict, and it doesn't take a genius to chaos and conflict, right? When things seem chaotic, when things are in conflict, and even when we think about what's happening right now in the world, it's a lot of chaos, right? The whole world is in chaos. So it's so important that if the whole world is in chaos, you can't be in chaos too, in conflict too. You can't descend into the abyss of the chaos and conflict and confusion. It's the time to elevate yourself out of that by going back to the basics. So I'm going to read what the information that comes with this card. Chaos and conflict, disarray, being at cross purposes with another. Excuse me. Wait, I almost dropped almost dropped it. Okay. Chaos and conflict, disarray, being at cross purposes with another, the tension of opposites, the value of chaos before order. Opposing forces come together to create a turbulent atmosphere, but consider the value of chaos that serves you well as you become unmoored by it. Scattered to the winds, you leave behind the parts of yourself you no longer need and disperse seeds to reinvent yourself anew. Hello, born again. I talked about that in the opening intuitive message. Go back and listen to it. Although the conflict appears to exist externally, its essence is also internal, projected outward and causing disarray. You may find yourself at cross purposes with someone else, facing a storm you feel you can't control. Yet every storm passes and chaos leads to a reordering of things. Conflict provides a way to see more than one side of a situation. Look upon this as just a moment in time when you need to take shelter and step away from the fray. Don't be too eager to fight. This is a time to understand rather than to be understood. Again, I talked about this in the opening intuitive message, with everything that's going on, all of the chaos and conflict that we're seeing in the world, this is really a time, if you're listening to spirit, where spirit is telling you and encouraging us all to get quiet, to face ourselves, to face the things that we have been wanting to ignore, to be reborn, to start anew, to get a fresh start, to go back and look at where we went off the rails before, and to fix it and to heal it, so that we can come out of this stronger and better than ever. The relationship message says, stubbornness is keeping you in a state of opposition. The incessant need to be right will only serve to prolong the conflict that deep down you want to be resolved. This is an opportune moment to learn about your values, your sense of self, what's really important to you. Some things are non negotiable. If that's true, it's not necessary to fight. Can you find a way through the stormy emotions to higher ground? Soon the air will clear and you will be in a much better place than before, for the storm will have passed, blazing a path for new growth in its wake. Things can become electric and enlightened, always better than before if you use this time constructively. And then the prosperity message says circumstances appear to be chaotic, but everything that is happening now is in truth shaking things up so you can find the real path to your prosperity. Yes, it's a stormy time, and it feels as if there are opposing forces wherever you turn. Be reassured that there is a divine purpose in this chaos. Everything that doesn't work is being taken from you so that the truest parts of yourself remain. The events occurring now are essential for your ultimate prosperity. This chaos is divinely inspired, even though it doesn't appear that way now. In time, you will know this to be true. So, even those of you who are experiencing economic decline, right, because of everything that's happening in the world, perhaps you're not working, you may be waiting on some tax relief or something to help out with that. Just understand in life there are always ebbs and flows. There's always times of flourishing, and then there's times where things don't flourish as much. The seasons teach us that. And so this is a time when you get back to the basics. You could get more in tune with who you really are, and where in other avenues of creating wealth and prosperity. Some of you, just the losing of your job may feel like you have been betrayed. You feel betrayed by your company, or betrayed by, even the government or whatever. I don't know. So, in that, you are encouraged to, I want to, and this may be a specific message, maybe not for everybody who got card group number 2, but, I want to remind you that provision is always made. And for you to take heart and to have courage and to know and to believe, you will not go hungry, you will not starve, you will not be without. You may see things a lean time. You may have to cut back on certain things, but it's only to remind you and to show you really how blessed you are, and that even when things don't seem as abundant as you would have liked, the true abundance is in having life, in loving yourself, and knowing that you too are loved. It is in knowing that you, at any moment, creative ideas can be born within you that open up new doors of opportunity for wealth and abundance and prosperity to flow to you. So, it's, it makes me think about when you plant a seed. When you plant one seed, that one seed, however small it is, usually produces way more fruit. Like one seed can produce 1,000 fruit, or one apple seed can produce a tree that produces apples for generations to come. And so through this time where you feel like you have little, or you've been cut back in some kind of way, or maybe you're feeling the loss of a relationship, or a loss of a job, or a loss of income, or just a loss of security. You don't even feel safe and secure anymore. You don't know what's happening, and you're being stripped of all of the fluff, right, of life, and you're being stripped down to the bare basics. You will come to understand that in your bare basics is the seed for so much more abundance of love, wealth, prosperity, joy, and all of the goodness of life has never left you. The seed for all of that is already within you, and that is perhaps what the Most High, the divine, your ancestors want you to see, is that you have it within you. It doesn't necessarily come from someone else or something else. If a job leaves, that's fine. Another job will be created, or a business will be created. So trust in the midst of the chaos and conflict. If you listen and you don't pay attention to the chaos and conflict as much, but you just take time to listen, you will hear the answers that you need. All right. So that is it for your reading this week, April. Was this week the 12th through the 18th. Again, make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, April 13th, in order to be entered to win our April giveaway. Go back and listen to the opening intuitive message. That's if you need to know what time that minute, or the minute that it comes in, go check the timestamp in the description box. Leave a love offering. Subscribe to this channel and get your tickets to the Secrets to Abundance through by incorporating energy medicine and somatic healing techniques, because that is taking place this Friday, April 17th. All right. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. And until we speak again, as always, I'm wishing you so much peace and love. Well, hello there. To those of you who selected card group number 3, these are your results. I will quickly go over the announcements just in case you are one of the ones who skipped ahead. Make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, April 13th if you want to be in the running to win our April giveaway. Every Monday that you do that after a new pick a card reading, your name is entered an additional time, which increases your chances of being our monthly giveaway winner. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. That really helps my channel when you subscribe, and then when you also like a video, because then that boosts that actual video too. And so that actually helps my channel and encourages me to continue doing this free aspect of my work. So if you appreciate these videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and like the video. Get on my email list, y'all. Get on my email list right now. This week, as an incentive, when you get on my email list, you will receive absolutely free my set of worksheets called Astrology and Me. Now, Astrology and Me helps you to know your specific sun sign. I have all of the sun signs there and all of the moon signs, and helps you to know how your sun and your moon sign are working together to create who you are. A lot of times people know their sun sign, but they still don't even really know what it means to be a Virgo or Aquarius or a Capricorn. So I help you to have a deeper understanding of that. But then also couple that with your moon sign, which a lot of people don't even know their moon signs, right? And even if you do, it just really helps you to have a deeper understanding of how both your sun and moon signs are working together to create who you are. And so when you get on my email list, you will receive Astrology and Me absolutely free, immediate download. Make sure that you watch my video, Everybody's in Aries, including you. That link is down below. No matter what your sun sign is, Aries is somewhere in your birth chart. Everybody has Aries in their birth chart. And since we are in Aries season, you need to know how to function during Aries season for your best and highest good. And again, with that, I also go through all 12 of the zodiac signs. So if you're a Capricorn, what should you be doing right now during Aries season? If you're a Scorpio, what should you be doing right now during Aries season? X, Y, and Z on down the line. So Everybody's in Aries, including you, is available. So make sure that you watch that video. Down below are tickets to an online workshop that I'm doing with licensed therapist Neogela Hendricks Wilson, called The Secrets to Abundance by Incorporating Energy Medicine and Somatic Healing Techniques. Y'all, that we did a 30-minute quick free session 2 weeks ago, and that was so powerful. So we have extended it to a 2-hour intensive session where we're going through a lot of the energy medicine techniques, even how to use crystals. We'll do experiments to show why they actually do work. We'll talk about mental health practices, somatic, which basically means body, removing traumatic, how the emotions and trauma shows up in your body and how to remove that energy. I mean, we're going to go deep for 2 hours. So whether you're a licensed clinician or you're just somebody who wants to know how to utilize these tools in your day-to-day life to increase your overall wellness and abundance, make sure you get tickets to that. The Secrets to Abundance by Incorporating Energy Medicine and Somatic Healing Techniques. That link is down below. I said all this in my announcements, but make sure that you're following me on Instagram and Facebook, because I share so much more there that you don't see here on YouTube. And so those links are down in the description box. And then lastly, leave a love offering or donation if this work is benefiting you in any kind of way. I don't care if it's $5 or $500. if these videos are inspiring you, helping you, guiding you, motivating you, whatever, then consider leaving a love offering. And you can do that via Cash App or PayPal. Those links are down below, just to show your appreciation. And I am saying thank you in advance to those of you who have and who are leaving donations. I do greatly appreciate that. So this week we are talking about going back to the basics, getting back to the basics, right? And last announcement, go back and listen to the opening intuitive message in case you missed it, because I did a bonus reading in that. And so in the description box, you'll see the timestamp so you can skip back to that section of the video, so you can watch the bonus reading. And I went in deep on, getting back to the basics and us being in Aries season. And excuse me, this Sunday that this video is being posted is also, for a lot of people, is Resurrection Sunday. And what does that mean? Being reborn and being renewed, and with this week talking about getting back to the basics of life in general. This is what I feel for a lot of us, how we will come out successful at the end of all of this, global pandemic and quarantine and stay-at-home orders and everything like that. Is some basic things that we have missed, that we have overlooked, that we have ignored, that now we are all being forced to return to the basics. And this clear quartz crystal, this is one of the very first stones I ever received. This is one of my originals. Years ago, I received this one. And so a clear quartz crystal is one of those stones that helps you to see clearly, that helps you to find balance in your mind and your body, to help you to get back to the basics. It increases, whatever your thought patterns are, whatever your behavioral patterns are. When used properly, it can help you to see why you do what you do, and to, if you want to stay in the chaos and confusion, it will let you stay there. If you want to see a way out of all of that, it will help you to see your way out. And so it can help you to take inspired action when necessary, using a clear state of mind. And so clear quartz crystal, if I said, if you could only have 5 gemstones, this would be in my top 5 lineup, just a clear quartz, because it can help you to clean the slate. It can help you when you're intentionally working to start back from the basics and to start anew, to be reborn and to be refreshed. And there's so much more that can be said about this stone that, I'm not going to share all of that here. But you know what I always tell you to do. If you want to know more, make sure you Google clear quartz. And so, speaking of getting back to the basics, I only have 2 cards here. You're not doing a whole lot. Sometimes we can overcomplicate things, and getting back to the basics is about not overcomplicating things. And so the cards that you receive are the 6 of Pentacles and Observer. This is interesting. The 6 of Pentacles and Observer. Okay. In terms of getting back to the basics. Yeah, okay. The 6 of Pentacles is a card, and you're probably hearing horns because I'm sitting by a window. You'll hear everything from the wind blowing to horns to birds chirping to, in one, I think it was card group 2 or 1, I can't remember, but they were like ducks. You can so you'll hear everything. But getting back to the basics, the 6 of Pentacles is a card of reciprocity. It's a card of, every time I see the 6 of Pentacles, it reminds me of the flow of giving and receiving. If we look at this card has 2 individuals here. One is, she's on top of the mountain. She's got on her jewelry. She's the abundant one on this card, who is probably, the giver. She has a pentacle, a coin in her hand that she's releasing. And then we see an individual down here who is struggling, who appears to be suffering or destitute. And so he's on the receiving end of that. And so the Six of Pentacles is a card of reminding, you could be, we've all played both roles, right? Sometimes we are the giver and sometimes we are the receiver. And even when you're the receiver, it doesn't mean that you're destitute or struggling in life. It's just, there are times that we give and times that we receive, and we all play, all sides of that. And even right now with everything that is happening, some of you maybe have found yourself at the top at one point, and now you find yourself, having to be in a position or a need to receive, and having to trust the process, having to trust that your needs will be met, that you will be provided for, that the flow of anything, money, energy, love, whatever, that flow is ever present and ever constant, and it's never stagnant. And it's really about you being open to it. One of the reasons why, and I'm not saying this to try to sway you in any kind of way, but one of the reasons why I have an option to leave me a donation, right, is because it's about reciprocity. Like to film these videos, to take the time to tune to spirit, to just give a free message, is me giving. And that's either me here on the top giving, or that could be me down here at the bottom, whatever, however you want to view that, but it's about releasing something and trusting that, and opening the door of opportunity for somebody to flow energy back to me, right? And so I always want to keep the window of flow open. And so likewise with you, where is it that your window of flow is open or closed? We are talking about getting back to the basics of life, which is giving, which is loving, which is receiving, which is joy, which is healing, which is taking care of your body and your mind and your spirit. The real basics. If you had a prayer life that you have kind of drifted away from, get back to the basics. If you have, if you used to have a health practice that you've gotten away from, like you no longer work out as much as you used to, it's about getting back to the basics. And even the Six of Pentacles is about returning to those kind of basics, the basics of giving, the basics of receiving. Sometimes we have, I feel like for some of you, you're used to being the abundant one. And then now you might find yourself in a position where you are the one who is in need, where you are, having to cut back, and you're like, oh my gosh, and that's an uncomfortable position. But, it's about knowing that you're not always the giver, even in this case with this reading going, again, it's not to sway you in any direction. You may choose not to leave a donation. Why? Because this might just be your time where you just need to receive, where you just need to hear a word, where you just need to be inspired, where you just need to be motivated. It's not about you giving anything at this time. It's about you just receiving. And so, I come across sometimes people, we think the problem is giving a lot of times, but for a lot of people, I'm finding they have a hard time receiving money, receiving a compliment, receiving help. They don't even want to ask for help because they don't want to feel like they're this person in need and charity, but nobody can do everything on their own. Nobody can solve all problems by themselves. Nobody can make all the money themselves. It's about the idea, or the ability to receive as much as you give. And if you only want to give and you can't receive, then you're out of alignment. And vice versa. If you only want to take and receive without giving, then you're also out of alignment. This is a cycle. This is a circle right here. And so your abundance then in this moment, in this time, is in your ability to flow, to give and to receive, to be okay with making an exchange, to give your time in some kind of way. Perhaps, for you, it has nothing at this time to do with money, but it's about perhaps giving your time or receiving time from others, and not doing so out of desperation, you know, but joyfully giving and joyfully receiving. Joyfully giving and joyfully receiving. The basics for those of you who selected card group number 3 is about getting back to the basics of reciprocity, of giving and receiving. You know, if you're in a time of quarantine or solitude, you know, what can you give and receive at this time? What can you learn and what can you teach? Who can you love and who can you allow to love you back? Who can you support financially or who can you receive financial support from? You know, how can you grow and how can you help someone else grow? You know, it's about that reciprocity. That's how you sustain yourself. That's how you get back to the basics. And even with, you know, this us being in Aries season, and again, I highly encourage you to watch Everybody's in Aries, including you. Aries season for much of the world is about a time of renewal and rebirth and new life. You know, understanding that one small seed produces great fruit, great abundance. You know, the leaves are coming back on the trees, the flowers are blooming, plants are growing. And so it's about that renewal of life, that flow of life. Nothing is stagnant. For many of you, look at the areas of your life that feel stagnant or are stagnant. Ask yourself why. And I can guarantee it has something to do with something you're not giving and something you're not allowing yourself to receive. Some help that you're not giving and help that you're not receiving. Money you're not giving or money you're not receiving. Love you're not giving and love you're not receiving. Compliments you can't give and compliments you can't receive. You know, that stagnation will keep you from flourishing. But the simple act of giving and receiving is a basic act. It's how you return to your own basics and how you are will be able to flourish at this time. And so observer in general is about what it says, you know, observing. You know, look, he's got this little fox, he has this little telescope, he's looking at the moon. And even I'm gonna read the information that comes with this card, but you know, even that, looking at this picture, I can tell you, you know, is the moon itself is about observing what is residing on your subconscious mind, your hidden feelings, your hidden thoughts, your hidden beliefs that you don't even realize are governing how you function in life. And during our opening intuitive message, the bonus reading card is the moon. So again, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to that because that's tying in here. You have to observe what is happening on your subconscious mind. Why do you give what you give? Why do you receive what you receive? Or why don't you give what you don't give? And why can't you receive what you can't receive? What hidden beliefs, how have you been groomed and how were you brought up? You know, some people were brought up to think if you ask for help, that's a sign of weakness, you know. And so even going back and observing your beliefs and why you believe what you believe, why you think the way you think, you know, is that helping or hindering you? I'm not saying it's going one way or the other. I'm just saying that you have to observe. If you don't take the time to observe, you won't know what is residing on your subconscious level that's really ruling and governing your life for the better or for the worse. So I'm going to read the information that comes with this card. Observer. Let's see, one second. Observer. Perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. The relationship message says, sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings can get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. Take to higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself, in others, and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. And the prosperity message says it is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. Trust spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. So, this is about some form of detachment in a way. Observer is like just, not being so attached that you feel like things have to go a certain way or you're trying to force things to happen in a certain way. It's about, not being so attached to your feelings that you allow your feelings to cloud what's really happening. And I'm always one, like, I don't like it when people say, don't be so emotional or don't feel. Like, we are feeling beings, right? We're meant to feel, we're meant to have emotions. So I'm not telling you not to feel. What I'm saying is that sometimes when we are so, when we, if you go back and listen to the opening intuitive message, I said that the lower energy of the moon is that it connects to feelings of fears and worries and doubts. And when you think about when the moon comes out, it happens at nighttime. So it happens basically in the darkness, right? When the things that we fear, the things that we don't see clearly, clear course, right? So it connects to a time when we're not seeing clearly. And sometimes we have feelings and emotions that are connected to beliefs and thoughts and misunderstandings, right? That we are not seeing clearly. And so if you're emotional about something that you're not seeing clearly, and especially if it's connected to money or your feelings about money or the idea of giving and receiving, your perspective could be off, which could cause you to behave and act in a way that you don't need to at this time. For example, if you're one of those people who has a hard time receiving, and this is a time when you need to be receiving, where you do need to accept resources and funding and help from someone else, but your pride is in the way, because you perhaps grew up or adopted a belief that anybody who receives help is weak or whatever, or you just have a bad connotation with that, then this is your time to get back to the basics and understand that there's giving and receiving is the flow of life. It's the flow of the universe. It's the flow of everything goes through a time of giving and receiving. So you have to kind of detach from those feelings and observe and not take everything so personally. And especially right now when everybody's going through the same thing. So this global pandemic, it ain't just about you. Everybody's going through it, for better, for worse, for some more worse than others, right? But everybody's affected. It's not just you. So don't take things so personally. Get into divine flow, give and receive, and don't stop giving and receiving. Don't stop loving, don't stop helping, don't stop assisting, don't stop doing your part, and also don't stop receiving, the love or resources or whatever it is that the universe, God, your ancestors, whoever is trying to flow back to you at this time. All right. So that is your reading this week, April 12th through the 18th. Again, make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, April 13th, if you want to be in the running to win our April giveaway. Click all the links that I told you down below. Watch all the videos. Get your tickets to the Secrets to Abundance, and get on my email list. Do that. Get on my email list so that I can send you the Astrology and Me worksheet absolutely free. All of that information is down below. go back and listen to the opening intuitive message. I strongly advise that because I feel it's going to give you some deeper insight into what I shared here. So that's it for this week's reading. And until we speak again, as always, I'm wishing you so much peace and love. Thanks for watching.